Well, it's Hilary here at Coachella, day 3, FM94.9, and our bocce ball lawn court broadcast. And I've been joined by, there you go.
Sorry, I'm destroying the microphone.
It's okay.
Not in a lyrical way either, in a literal way, which is a shame.
If you feel like destroying it lyrically, we would all sit back and just roll tape.
Ice Cube last night, so I wouldn't want to compete.
That's true. He set the bar high. I'm here with Matthew from the 1975. How you doing?
Fine.
So you said you went for a little bit last night, watched some Ice Cube.
I did for a little bit, yeah. I was kind of getting in the zone for my own show now. Watching stuff on the stage that you're playing on kind of freaks me out.
Does it? Because
it doesn't at like Leeds Festival in the UK, because that was like where I grew up. So that feels like jumping over the barrier. Right. I've never really been to Coachella that many times, and it's obviously quite a big deal. Yeah. And when you're there, you're very aware of how much a big deal it is.
Sure.
So I'm just there freaking myself out watching the show last night. So I was like, I'm going to bail. Get to bed early.
That's
sort my
smart.
stuff out. You didn't get to bed early, though,
I
right?
did not. I think we rolled in at about 3.
Oh, that's okay.
It wasn't terrible.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. But my first interview today was not supposed to be till right now. And at 11, I was fast asleep and got the text from these guys. Wolf Alice is 2 hours early. Get over here.
Oh, you late? That's my boys. You can't be late for Wolf Alice.
No, they were great, though.
Yeah,
they were really nice. So in the 1975, you guys you've been friends since high school, most of you. Is that right?
Yeah. We've been a band since high school. Yeah.
That's so awesome. So share with me some of the band names you had before the 1975, or like what was like the? Do you have any of them?
The first one was
really
me and you versus them.
Me and you versus them.
Punk rock, dude.
Totally.
We must have been about 14.
And you did punk rock covers too at first, right?
We say punk rock. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, we did like some Ramones covers, which is definitely punk, but we were also doing like Ghostbusters, and, like Lit. Remember that tune?
Oh,
Remember that song?
My Own Worst Enemy?
That's right. I think we learned how to play that.
You do. You should bust that out on stage.
We should bust that out, right? I don't know. We just kind of we were making music for fun before we were making music to be cool. You know what I mean? Like we were making music for the same reason we were playing video games, and like the purity of the experience was really fun. Mm-hmm. And then obviously that as you grow up, you become more culturally minded, and like and things become involved, and other bands, and you start becoming aware of what you want to do. And we just kind of evolved, and we've always been this really tight friendship group, and it's cool to be like on the other side of the world, sharing that with people.
Your best buddies.
Yeah.
That is really cool. I think that's a unique experience for.
It doesn't happen a lot anymore with bands. The kind of the truly organic foundation. Yeah. So it's nice to have that. Well, it's imperative. It's what we're founded on, really.
That's so cool. I feel like I will watch you because I guess I just didn't realize that or hadn't thought about it, and I feel like when I watch you guys play now, I'm going to see it through a little bit of a different lens, just knowing that you really are such
Well, I think there's
friends
a truth and a conviction to it that is relatable, because people like that, don't they? People like friendship, and people like the idea of, you just want to believe in somebody, don't you?
Yeah.
And I think if certain people have been hand-picked for the job, you don't believe in it as much as people who have done it together. So
earned it.
Yeah, it's all about belief, I think.
So, before, when you're starting a band and you're 14 and now you're the 1975, like how long did it take to kind of really get into the sound that you are now? Like,
well, I mean, forever. Like we struggle to stay in like one genre for a song, let alone an album. And that's kind of been definitive of how we've always been. I mean, we couldn't get arrested when we were like 19, 20, like trying to get a record deal, because people thought that we were a confusing idea, this band that, like all of their songs sounded different. And I was talking about being an ambassador of a generation, being a postmodernist, being somebody who creates in the way that they consume. And we've kind of, because we're part of this generation that does that, that's one of the reasons that we're happening now. But back in the day, it was just a hard sell. The 1975 was a really hard sell to anybody. That's why we sort of started our own label with our manager, and
just do it yourself. That's so interesting. And it's kind of crazy to think that now, like when you guys played San Diego, you played Observatory North Park, sold out. People were like losing their minds over you guys, you know, and that for me, that was the first time I experienced that with you guys playing San Diego. I think FM94.9 did like a meet and greet or something.
Right.
For like 4 days leading up to it, all I did during my air shift was answer people on Twitter like, okay, you know, yes, we know you want to meet the 1975, like your rabid fan base.
We do, yeah, it's amazing. And I think, partially part of that is to do with the how organic it is. You know, people just, you know, people aren't stupid. People aren't like aren't that superficial, and people can see through the bullshit quite quickly, I think,
and feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
When they listen. Now, you guys, what do you have? 2 full lengths, is that right?
2 full lengths and like 4 EPs.
So I wanted to ask you about that. Like the EPs, you released, instead of like singles, you released these EPs over the years. Was that in an effort to kind of establish?
Well, it was because I was bored, because that's the way you should do it. I was bored of it being like some establishment, some like magazine or something, being like, right, here's a band on the front cover, here's one song, here's a review of a show that I went to, and now they're your favorite band. It's like, no, they're not my favorite band, 'cause I don't know anything about them. So we kind of approached it like, you know, you want to fall in love with a band like you fall in love with a person. The more you know about them over a longer period of time means that the more you both invest and the more rewarding it is for both parties. It's a really simple idea. So instead of, we were like, right, well, let's almost do an album before our album. So we put out 16 songs, 4 of which went onto the first record.
Okay.
But it was because we needed to provide context, and we needed to give people an environment, and we wanted to showcase people a personality, and we knew that the record we were going to do was going to be very pop, very bombastic, very easily misinterpreted. So that was our way of contextualizing what we wanted to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that came to fruition?
Yeah,
like
totally.
Yeah.
It was we were, you know, we sold out Brixton Academy before our album came out.
So give me some context for that. Brixton
Academy is like so it's like, well, Led Zeppelin, but it's like a 5,500 capacity venue in London. It's like I don't know what an American venue I'd compare it to, but
that's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and that happened before our album, and it was full of kids who knew every single word. Now you can probably sell out Brixton Academy if you have some like super massive hit single that cost $1 billion by everybody, but the room is anodyne and pointless and boring. So it was very you know, it was just the right thing to do. It was an artist caring about what they did. That's why it worked, regardless of the formula.
It just makes sense to me that there was such a method to it, but I just find that's interesting. I don't know that a lot of bands think it through that. Well,
that's the common I get asked a lot what the one misconception that annoys me, and I suppose the only one that does not me a bit is that people think we have this kind of grandiose marketing team that kind of does all of these very, very clever things, whereas it's just me and my manager. We do all of it.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Are you guys the ones on social media then? Because I mean, your fans are crazy.
Yeah, well, we have people to help us do that as well, but it all comes from one place. But that's the whole thing. A camel is a horse designed by committee. If you've got a horse in your head and you give it to 10 people to design, you're going to get a camel back.
Right, sure.
Because one person's vision is always going to be more concise than something diluted by compromise and committee.
And do you enjoy that then?
Yeah, well, yeah. I think I'm a bit of a sociopath. So I think I do enjoy it.
A little bit. All right. Tell me, I want you to say the name of the new album that just came out in February, because I can never get it right.
I Like It When You Sleep, For You, So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It. I nearly got it wrong then.
That's funny. You did stumble a little bit.
I Like When You Sleep, For You, So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It. Yeah.
That's a beautiful name for an album, let alone how good the album is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just... We got to a point where we were like, oh man, I don't know what this record is going to be. I don't know what it needs to be. But if it's going to be anything, it's going to be on our terms, you know, as weird or as emo or ridiculous as they may be. So I think it just kind of stood for like conviction. And we named the album that very early on in the process. Almost as a way of kind of like being like, right, well, that's what it's called. So if it's called that, it's already ridiculous. So like all bets are off, you know. We have to make that album now. So that's kind of the way we approached it. So there was no fear and no like, what are they going to play? This won't make it on the radio. Do you know what I mean? So we didn't do any of that.
I like that about you guys. That makes me like you even more,
Okay.
Matthew. It does. I think that's
It's
refreshing.
It's about belief. It's about whether you believe in somebody.
Sure.
And you have to believe in yourself to get, you know, if you don't believe in it, then why the fuck should
absolutely.
I?
But I think there's so often now, there's just, first of all, there's so much information and noise. And like I said, social media that it you know, I think to keep your intentions pure as a band and in the studio to do what you want to do, I think that's a great thing to aspire to do.
Cool.
It sounds like you did.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. So playing Coachella and then what? Just more touring?
2 shows in LA and then some other shows in California, show in Vegas, then back to Coachella, and then a huge American tour.
Nice.
So we're playing some really good rooms as well. It's going to be amazing.
How fun. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you so
I hope
much.
It's a good time with you and your best buddies
Cool.
on the road.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
fun. Matthew, from the 1975, we look forward to seeing you back in San Diego again
See you in
soon,
San Diego.
too. All right. It's FM 94.9.